Good morning. Hearing and receiving calls from the people, from friends all over, asking a very pertinent question, and this number increased after Turkish president visited India and offered to mediate. And the Turkish president, as I was saying, offered to mediate. The question was to resolve the conflict between India and Pakistan. The government of India has always proclaimed from the rooftops that the issue of Kashmir is a bilateral issue. As a matter of fact, it's not even bilateral, it's a unilateral issue. The Constitution is very clear, and the Constituent Assembly had very clearly declared its accession to India. Anyway, if there's a dispute, it's between India and Pakistan, and no international interference is going to help. Then the question arises, why do these international powers want to intervene? China has always been doing so, and China has definitely penetrated parts of Azad Kashmir, Gilgit, Baltistan, and wants to play broker between India and Pakistan. Turkey's offer was refused, as that was Nick Haley, when she said that the US would be happy to be an honest broker. And the government of India very clearly stated every time, no, we do not need brokers. That being so, what prompts China in trying to intervene and provide a supposedly solution to the Kashmir problem? And secondly, why the government of India, although it has spurned the offers of China, not told it to quit absolutely? It's a vexed solution. Both China and India are superpowers, regional superpowers and the world leading economies. Both want to assert themselves as the movers and the shakers in Asia. Naturally, the situation being such, they will like to have and create a situation China. We will show it has no selfless interest. It has no desire to create peace. The reality is that China has a vested interest, its selfish interest, which motivates China to intervene in Kashmir imbroglio and thereby reap rich harvest. China has invested $50 billion in CPEC, Chinese-Pakistan Economic Corridor, and that corridor passes through Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, called Azad Kashmir, and also which government of India considers to be a part of Jammu and Kashmir state as a whole. That being so, China has to protect its investment of $50 billion. And for the first time in the history, Global Times, which is a publication of the ruling Communist Party of China, has accepted the fact, and they write very clearly, China has always adhered to the principles of non-interference, but does not mean, repeat, does not mean that Beijing interfere to the demands of Chinese in protecting overseas investments. So China is indirectly not helping Pakistan, which Pakistan is under the false assumption that they are good friends, they are all seasoned friends. Pakistan is forgetting that there are no permanent friends and there are no permanent enemies in politics. And Chinese are very uncanny, very shrewd. They would, which does not indirectly help them. Now, given the massive investment that China has made in all the countries along one belt, one road, they are bound by their self-interest to intervene in Kashmir. Now, this brings to mind another issue, and that issue is, earlier we used to call it Burma. In Myanmar, there was a lot of problem about Rohingya and the Bodhis. And the Chinese intervened in that, brought peace over there according to them, with the result that thousands of Rohingya Muslims became refugees. Some came to India. India recently ordered, identify and deport these 50,000 Rohingya refugees from Myanmar. The purpose was here not economic purpose but political purpose. China is at the center of the regional power shift, and it has to show that it is the stabilizing force and conflict mediator in the region. It's assuming on itself the mantle of the protector and keeper of peace. Now that mantle which has arrogated itself, it is all trying to extend to Kashmir, thereby showing, okay, I'm the big brother, I don't want these two countries to fight, I want peace. So China is killing two birds with one stone. One, protecting its own investments, showing off and proving that this country and is also instrumental in keeping peace. Indirectly, it is trying to do exactly what USA has been doing all the time. Whether it was Far East, whether it was New Zealand, whether it was Europe, or whether it's Middle East. USA always had said, okay, we want peace. And now it's also doing in Ukraine and Syria. So, China is slowly and steadily creeping into the shoes of itself as the decision maker, as the cop of the area. Now, this thing naturally India would not tolerate, because India has been doing the same thing itself. You remember, and parachuted arms and restored President Gafoor. It also intervened in Sri Lanka. It has intervened in Nepal since times immemorial, right way back in 1950, when the Shahs removed the king. Pandit Nehru sent armed forces and put the king, Brinder, back to the throne. So that being so, both the countries are playing a chess game. Both want to show that they are the superior powers and that they matter, that they are the final arbitrators, that they are the court of the final appeal in that region. Now this creates a conflicting situation because both India and China want to assume the authority, the decision-making authority, which none of the countries is letting go of the other. So, in case China is successful, somehow or the other, showing that it can also make India listen to it, you can be sure that all the countries of the region shall fall before it like pins. So this is a crucial matter for Chinese, that they prove their capabilities, that they can even sway India, their major opponent or competitor. Now mediating between India and Kashmir would be the toughest challenge that China ever faces, and it may never happen. Now another thing which has happened is that China has played down the presence of its troops in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. It has sent its troops over there, and the plea it has taken is that the troops have been sent to Azad Kashmir to preserve law and order and to deliver humanitarian assistance. Nothing can be further from truth. As I say, diplomacy is a game of telling lies effectively. And China is doing exactly that. It has absolutely no desire to render any humanitarian assistance. The only humanitarian assistance they are interested in is to create an atmosphere where $50 billion worth of investment is safe. Now, those armed forces, India has been objecting, because that is going to worsen the conflict between India and Pakistan. And in the desire of China to link Gwadar to Balochistan and ultimately to China would be a lot of a problem. And that is why India till today has not declared its delegation, which is to participate in Belt and Road Initiative on May 14 and 15. And then, the Chinese troops in that area assumed further significance when we remember that on the Pakistan Day Parade, Chinese troops marched for the first time with the Pakistani troops in that parade. And that's a sign of Chinese military playing a role in the regional stability. So we have come to see that the major reason for China and B, to prove itself to be the major stabilizing force. India has to ensure that both these objectives are defeated. India has to ensure that China does not get the reputation of being the superpower in the region, the arbitrator in the region, the decision maker in the region, the honest broker in the region. Nor does it allow China to play a game where India's stature is belittled. So what is to be done? India should assure China that, look here, whatever happens, the investment of China in POK or Azad Kashmir shall be effectively protected. That will give some hope to China. And maybe they say, okay, now it's a bilateral relationship. They're very pragmatic, as I told you. So being pragmatic, they say, okay, this is a bilateral relationship. We do not want to intervene in the bilateral relationship. We'll encourage India and our friend Pakistan to sit across the table and take a proper decision. Secondly, India should tell in very clear terms to Pakistan that internationalizing this issue shall not solve it. It might worsen it. The way it told Nikki Haley, help is not required, India should tell China no. Saying firm no today will mean a lot. I know Modi government has the moral courage to do it. Let them do it. That will say not mar India's stance on maintaining what it has been saying all along, that Kashmir issue is a bilateral issue and not an international issue. I hope China also tries to understand that it cannot possibly ever play the role of a broker between India and Pakistan. It can do in other countries, which are smaller countries, but not as far as India is concerned.